And now moving to the Upper West Side of Manhattan, pro-Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduate Mahmoud Khalil, who helped lead campus protests against Israel's war in Gaza, was arrested last week. Originally a Palestinian refugee from Syria, Khalil is in the U.S. legally. Yet ICE agents entered his home, revoked his green card, and took him into custody without warning. However, after widespread protests demanding his release, a federal judge has now blocked Khalil's deportation. But with President Trump threatening first of many arrest warning, the fight is far from over. Here's more in our next report.
Release Mahmoud Khalil now! Release Mahmoud Khalil now!
A storm is brewing at Columbia University. Mahmoud Khalil, a pro-Palestinian activist and prominent face of last year's campus protests, was arrested on Saturday night in a dramatic ICE raid. The arrest, shrouded in confusion and controversy, has set off a firestorm of criticism and legal battles.
When do we want it?
Just because this person was organizing in support of Palestine, I think it's just like a gross, blatant display of just extrajudicial presidential power that's really terrifying to me. So I feel like my husband's an immigrant. I just feel very, very moved by this in a way that feels very personal.
Khalil's attorney claimed that the federal agents arrived unannounced at his doorstep. The officials claimed to revoke Khalil's student visa. But when officials were pointed out that he was a green card holder, agents pivoted, saying they were revoking that instead.
They're justifying it based on an executive order that Trump issued that would authorize the DHS to use the Immigration Act to go after students who've protested in the context of the Gaza conflict. But an executive order cannot change the law. We do have a statute, and it bears repeating, where the government has a heavy burden to establish through clear and convincing evidence that the green card holder is deportable under one of the grounds of deportation in the Immigration and Nationality Act.
Khalil's wife, who is 8 months pregnant, has now released a statement via his attorney, demanding to bring Mahmoud home. She even called Khalil's ICE transfer out of New York City a blatantly improper but familiar tactic.
Political speech or speaking out should never be the basis of punishment or lead to deportation. And what's more, Mr. Khalil, like every other green card holder, has a right to due process of law.
Khalil had become a key figure in student protests demanding Columbia divest from companies linked to Israel.
Now the climate on campus has changed. A lot of students before, they were scared of the university intimidation tactics because the university has used and has unleashed a lot of scary tactics.
His activism placed him under scrutiny from Columbia's newly formed Office of Institutional Equity, which had been investigating students critical of Israel. Khalil faced 13 allegations, many tied to social media posts that he insists he never made.
If you notice, the first day when the students were at the other lawn of this university before the police came and arrested them, there were about 100 students inside. Today, as we can see, there's much more than that. The university climate has changed, and now we are more and more confident that we will be able to achieve our demands.
And when classes resumed in September, he vowed the protests would continue as long as the university benefited from what he called Israeli apartheid. His vocal stance made him a target for right-wing groups and pro-Israel activists who pressured the administration to take action.
Yes, so yesterday we had a very long session with with the university negotiators. We spent 11 hours in the negotiation room. Today we spent about an hour as well. Clearly, there are, as Sueda mentioned, we are at a stage where kind of an impasse. The university is not acknowledging the movement and the extent of the movement, and what they are willing to offer is mostly just the statements, processes, and committees.
Last week, Colombia announced a massive funding cut from the federal government, which is about $400 million after the Trump administration accused the school of failing to combat anti-Semitism.
Canceling these taxpayer funds is our strongest signal, yet that the federal government is not going to be party to an educational institution like Colombia that does not protect Jewish students and staff.
Khalil's arrest was just the beginning, and the move has sparked national and international outcry, with protests erupting outside ICE's Manhattan office. Advocacy groups, civil rights organizations, and legal experts have condemned Khalil's arrest as politically motivated and legally dubious. His supporters argue that the administration is targeting Palestinian activists under the guise of national security, effectively punishing dissent.
It's going to have a silencing effect. Knowing that ICE agents especially can just come in, revoke your visa, and send you back home is going to have a massive silencing effect. People aren't going to protest nearly as much. People aren't going to open their mind nearly as much, or to just talk about what's going on nearly as much, because they're going to be afraid that they're going to face consequences that in any other circumstance is just totally unacceptable.
In response, Colombia issued new guidance affirming that ICE agents need a judicial warrant to access non-public areas, including student housing. But the damage had been done. As legal battles mount, a federal judge has intervened. District Judge Jesse Furman has temporarily blocked Khalil's deportation and set a Wednesday hearing to determine his fate. Will the courts stand by Khalil's rights, or is this the dawn of a new crackdown on dissent?
Palestine will be free.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Barat Kelogon, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month we have viewers up to 150 million, that's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Lohon, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.